What's up, idols? It's CC Lesson 3. Welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for clicking on this video. Sorry if I sound a little off. It's the ass crack of dawn. It's like 7 a.m. I'm back in the States, so if I want to film, edit, and upload this same day, I need to film a little bit earlier. My mom is also downstairs recovering from her surgery, so if I'm talking a little bit quieter, it's because I don't want to disturb her. She's like, Isis, I'm fine, whatever. Do what you gotta do, but still, I'm just a little paranoid. Okay, so I'm gonna be a little quiet, maybe closer to my ASMR style. Yes, I will be in the States for about a month, and then I'm off to Hong Kong. We are supposed to be taking a trip to Japan, me, my boyfriend, and his mom. And then I'm really trying to go to Korea in like March-ish because I want to see some cherry blossoms. I want to see my friends before the weather gets too hot because I will not be there this summer. No siree. Anyway, we are back with another story time, the first story time of 2026 and the first story time in a few weeks. I'm so sorry about that, but this one is crazy and well worth the wait, I can assure you. This story time comes from a girl who asked to be called Betty Boop. Throughout the story, I may call her Betty just to shorten it. She gave me so many receipts. She gave me screenshots that you'll see throughout this video. She gave me pictures. I will blur his face. She gave me her private Instagram, her public Instagram, just to corroborate the story. And I love when I get receipts because you need them to believe the story that's as crazy as this one is about to be. And again, y'all, after me personally spending so much time in South Korea, I know firsthand how crazy shit gets in South Korea. I can vouch for how absolutely wild life in South Korea gets. And when y'all finally get to Korea, or if you have been to Korea, you're gonna look around, have your experiences, and be like,
it's real! Oh my God, this whole thing is real!
Also, there is about a page and a half of this that is too spicy for YouTube. So that will be on Patreon. If you want access to other NSFW story times that would get demonetized on YouTube, foreigners dating in Korea, but there's a lot of spice, check out the link below to join my Patreon. Also, I have vlogs with my boyfriend there. I do have another one I need to edit really soon. But yeah, if you love these story times, you'll love the ones on Patreon. Okay, anyway, Betty Boop is a Canadian girly. She's a Virgo and she's about my age. She's a proud ARMY, proud K-pop girly, K-drama girly, and that's part of the reason she wanted to go to South Korea so badly. And she finally did just that over the summer. And it's perfect timing because BTS Festa last year was wild. The boys just got out of military, they're home, so she wanted to be there for that. There's also going to be a part 2 to this story time because she was just back there after the summer, so subscribe to my channel if you don't want to miss the part 2 and the update to this story. One thing about Betty Boop is she says she's proudly in her hoe era, unashamed, as she should be, because men get praised to have experiences and know what you want and gain what you can while you're young, but women are shamed for it, and I cannot stand that double standard. Betty says she is just having fun. She's completely open to meeting hot guys and having fun and making memories and living her life. And it was definitely a goal of hers while she was on this trip to Seoul. So her first weekend out, she goes to Itaewon with her friend Josh. So for this first weekend out in Korea, she hits up Itaewon, which is good. Do not let Hongdae be your first experience of Korean nightlife. It will scar you. So Betty goes out with her friend Josh, who is trans, queer, and an icon. And because of this, they go to a district, I hope they rename it soon, but it's called Homo Hill. It's in Itaewon. It's where a lot of gay bars are, gay clubs, and you can even see some drag shows. It's amazing. And so far, she says clubbing in Seoul is nothing like she's ever experienced anywhere. She was overstimulated by the sexy men, the bright lights, the loud music, even people passed out drunk on the sidewalk, but in no danger whatsoever. She even said I wasn't exaggerating when I said Koreans know how to party. They do. So after checking out a few of the gay bars in Homo Hill, they decided to go to a bar called Waikiki. And as soon as Betty and Josh walked in, they were welcomed over to join our table. A group of Korean guys invited them over. They were offered drinks, and one of them was called Han. Han in particular was very flirty and very friendly towards Betty. He asked her the same old, how old are you? How long are you gonna be in Korea? Where are you from? Why Korea? Things like that. And he wasn't being subtle or aloof about how interested he was in her. Like, he made his move. But she was actually more interested in one of his friends. So that was kind of the reason she entertained the situation. I mean, the other friend was a little bit hotter, you know, that's not his fault though. So she was talking with all the boys, hoping to get some time to talk to the one that she found to be hot, but he left. So that made her decide, okay, Josh, time to go. But as they were leaving, Han, the guy who was clearly interested in Betty, like, hey, where you going? And tried to get some communication going with her. He got her Instagram. She says she only gave it to him because he was nice. He was persistent, but like not in an annoying or creepy way. So Josh and Betty head out, more clubs, enjoying the nightlife, and they actually end up meeting 2 Korean girls and hang out with them, so now it's 4 of them. Let's call these 2 girls Mina and Yuna. They all had so much fun together, they didn't even realize it was 5 a.m. And this was a shock to Betty because she's used to the clubs and bars closing in Canada around 2 or 3. But the fact that it's 5 a.m. in Itaewon and not only is everybody still out, the music is still bumping, nobody's tired, like everybody's still just fully, completely going. So it's 5 a.m. and because Josh is drunk, she's like, you know what, we're gonna call it a night, and they go back to their Airbnb because they share an Airbnb, a detail that will be pretty important later on. While they were heading to the Airbnb, Betty got a message from Han on Insta. As seen in this screenshot, he asked where she was and if they could meet up. Mind you, it's 5 a.m. That can only mean one thing. So Betty simply replied, I need to sleep. I love that. So the next day, Betty woke up to a series of DMs from someone, a foreign girl she did not know. So this message from this girl she did not know said the following. Hey girl, I hope you're a girl's girl and can help me out. It seems like you met my boyfriend, insert name here, last night. I'm asking because he's been shady and lying about stuff, so I thought you could help me figure it out. I know this message might seem crazy, but I hope you understand me. So Betty responded, hey girl, I was out last night at a club and I had a lot of soju. I can't remember names, lol. Can you give me a photo so I can try to remember? I spoke to a lot of people last night. However, I can confirm that I didn't hook up with any boys last night as I was taking care of my drunk bestie for most of the night. So hopefully that gives you some peace of mind, but I'm happy to try to help you piece things together. Did he add me on Insta or something? If he's one of the guys who had recently added me on Insta, I can definitely help you fill in the pieces. So then the girl responds, hi, thanks so much for the info so far. And she gives the Insta like, yes, this is the guy who I'm dating, who added you, and she sends a picture. And Betty says, hey, sorry, I fell back asleep. Yes, I did meet him last night. If I remember correctly, he had a table with his friends and offered me and my gay bestie some drinks. He asked for my IG and he did message me. I'll send the screenshots. I'm also happy to follow up and ask more questions if you need more info of his intentions. He was being friendly to us and didn't cross the line, but his messages are unclear, so I'll leave that up to you. I'm so sorry. Men are stupid and you deserve better if he's disrespecting you like that. So she sends the screenshot where he said, hello, and she said, hey, and he said, where are you? Can we meet? And that's when she said, I need to sleep. So Betty says, I mean, the 5:34 a.m. where are you message is fairly, what the fuck? You are stunning and you deserve more than that. I will wait until I hear back from you, then I'll unfollow. It's not completely linear, but I see that Betty says, some men are the worst. He obviously underestimated you. Such an idiot. I can't take more of this BS. Haha, my FBI skills? No, but like apparently he even told some girls we broke up. That's why he's out doing this. So like, bruh, who are you lying to? And do you think people are stupid and can't check this info? So yeah, I went full crazy. So I have everything and can shove it in his face. I'm sorry for bothering you with my BS. So yeah, that guy that she met in the club we called Han already had a girlfriend, and he messaged her 5-6 a.m. saying, where are you? Can we meet? He's cheating on her, unfortunately.
Surprise, surprise. Surprise, surprise.
And she said that was her first bit of drama with a Korean man. She said it was a bit anticlimactic because she wasn't like that into him anyway, but to see that he was so clear intentioned on wanting to meet up with her at 6 a.m. when he already had a girlfriend, it's like, come on, son. So anyway, the next night she went out and things got a lot better. She met some much more interesting Korean men. Unfortunately though, Josh was still hungover from the night before, so he stayed home to recover, and Betty went out with the two girls she met the night before, Yuna and Mina. They went back to Itaewon and things got cray. While she was out, she met two nice Korean guys. Let's call one Zach and call the other one Jay. Now, they were both handsome, but Jay was more her type than Zach was. As we go throughout these stories, you'll notice she has a thing for like the classic middle part hairstyle, and Jay had that. He was a pretty boy and, quote, a style so effortless it should honestly be illegal. So Betty and Jay talked for a bit. They maintained nice, intense eye contact. That's sexy, right? And they had natural conversation. Nothing felt forced. Everything just kind of flowed. She was liking where things were going. And of course, he asked her for her cacao, which is a good sign because it means you want to keep in touch, at least to some degree. So they all ended up going to another club together. Betty, Yuna, Mina, Zach, and Jay. And one thing that was cute is they were walking through a crowded club. Jay's holding Betty's hand to lead her through. She's like, oh my God, he's holding my hand. Like, oh, development, plot twist, it thickens. And this was the first time where she was like, okay, I think he likes me too. Okay, that's a good sign, right? Then completely and absolutely and bombastically out of nowhere, Jay starts grabbing her waist, tugging her arm, holding her hand. But when I say her, I don't mean Betty. I mean the friend Mina. As you can imagine, Betty is both confused and turned off by this. So she told Jay to do his thing, let her go, pursue Mina if you like Mina. And when she told him that, she kind of expected him to, okay, cool, focus on her, but instead he backed off and was like, no, it's not like that. He kept repeating that Mina was his blood sister. whatever that means. Which is even weirder because if that was your blood sister, why are you grabbing your sister like that in a club? That's weird. So Betty decided to ask Mina, like, hey, do you like him? Like, what is this? What's going on? Do you guys already know each other? And she says, nope, I just met him tonight. So blood sister, what was that? Betty was annoyed, so Mina took her to the bathroom, tried to explain her point of view, the situation from her side, the way she saw it, because Mina was fully convinced that Jay liked Betty. Apparently, the friend Zach said he doesn't give his cacao to just anybody, so he must really like you because he gave it to you as soon as y'all met. Mina was very encouraging, like, girl, give it a chance, get to know him, I think he likes you. So with that reassurance, Betty decided, okay, I'll get back to it and see where this goes. Let's see if he can explain this a little bit better. So they get out of the bathroom and they go back to clubbing. They see Zach by himself, but they don't know where Jay is. Apparently, Jay left because Betty and Mina were in the bathroom, gone, and for a while, and he thought they left, so he left too. That plus the fact that Betty had shut down a bit because, like, you're flirting with this girl in front of me, I'm no longer interested in you. So he left. Betty decided to text Jay like, hey, where'd you go? Come back. I was just in the bathroom for a second. But he didn't reply, so she decided to call him. And when she called him, she said he acted like he couldn't hear her. Then he hung up, but then he called her back and she went to the bathroom so she could clearly and quietly hear what he had to say on the phone. And from what she heard, he was repeatedly cursing Shiba, 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 just saying Shiba over and over again. Now, Betty doesn't speak a lot of Korean, but she does know what that one means. So she decided to hang up the phone and focus more on all the abundance, the fish in the sea, all these guys around her right now. And she said the minute she was in this club without a man like attached to her hip who appeared to be with her, she started to get a lot more attention from other guys who were there. She was overwhelmed by men touching her, waving at her, being too close in her proximity, in her bubble, in her no-no square. But she does say that most of them kept a respectful distance. Wants to reiterate that, but there was this one guy. This guy was doing too much. He was being disrespectful. He was too close. He kept touching her, grabbing her, all up in her face, clearly very drunk, even when she kept saying no, no, fuck off, Shiba, no, not interested. And it wasn't just her, it was also Mina and Yuna who were like, ew, like he's touching us, get away from us. And he even like grabbed her waist from behind and tried to like pull her in. Now Betty ain't basic and Betty ain't scared. She has a blue belt and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, so she can defend herself. She welcomed, oh, you want to be humble real quick, my guy? So she pushed him back. Instinctively, that's what you would do when someone's too close to you, making you feel uncomfortable or threatened. You want to create separation, create some space. She also told him that if he can't learn to take no for an answer, he's about to get his ass beat by a lady. But what's crazy is we had just talked about the topic of self-defense in South Korea. Now, I don't know if y'all know this. We just talked about this in the video I uploaded before this one. Check that out, please, because it is very important. But Jungkook has had 6 stalker-related incidents in the last 7 months since he got discharged from military in June. That's a lot. We talked about self-defense because what would happen if one of these girls successfully got into his house because they keep trying and he tried to defend himself, he could get in trouble for that too. He could get in trouble simply for defending himself. We see it happening right now with Nana from Orange Caramel and After School Club, where this guy broke into her home. Her and her mom stood on business. They were able to fend him off. And because he got injured and like cut on his face, he's trying to get them in trouble for attempted murder because they defended themselves when he got into their house. South Korea has the most insane self-defense laws. So please check out that video if you want to know more about that for your upcoming trip, your upcoming move to Korea, because we don't want you to get in trouble for defending yourself. That happens a lot in Korea. Okay, anyway, so luckily for Betty, she had someone there to explain this to her because Mina and Yuna were like, girl, chill. You could get arrested for simply defending yourself, even though he's harassing you or abusing you or the aggressor in this situation. As you can understand, that made Betty more upset. It didn't calm her down, had quite the opposite effect. What do you mean I can get arrested for punching a dude in the face who's harassing me and stalking me and won't leave me alone and hit me, put his hands on me first? What you mean I can get in trouble for defending myself? But luckily, it didn't escalate further between them because security finally did their job and they kicked out this handsy drunkard. So he's out of the club, he's out of the picture. And she said with the exception of that guy, most of the men she interacted with were fine. They didn't make her feel like she was in danger. They didn't violate her space or anything like that. Just disclaimer, but also gotta tell everything that happened to her. We don't want to leave certain bits out just because it's not good. As you can see though, with last night combined with this night so far, she's kind of on an emotional roller coaster of what these men's are like so far in this city. But then another man entered the chat. He approached her and told her that she was too pretty to ignore. He saw her and he had to say something. He felt compelled to do so. So yeah, this man made her blush because it caught her all the way off guard. She was having a really interesting night with some weird dudes, and then this Casanova comes over. What you got, bro? She said he had the classic middle part style that she likes. He had sexy dimples. He had a warm smile. He smelled amazing. And his fit, perfection. She said the only thing he was missing was tattoos. We love tattoos. It is a lot of women's kryptonite. I know liking tattoos can seem basic, but I don't care. I guess I'm basic. I love tattoos. I agree with Betty. Tattoos make any man infinitely more sexy. So anyway, they were chatting. He offered to buy her a drink, but she already had a drink. It was still pretty full. He did get her cacao though, because he needed to go get another drink. He's like, well, you're good, but I'm gonna go top up. So let me get your number though, just in case. So while he's away at the bar, Betty, Mina, and Yuna stepped away from the bar, kind of migrated to a different part of the club. By the way, we're gonna call this guy Nico. This is what she called him, so we're gonna call him Nico. Nico had texted her on Kakao and asked where she was, so she sent like a picture for reference. She said, I'm near the mirrors. He appeared right next to her again. He found her. After the creep she had just encountered, that handsy drunkard, it was nice that this guy kept a respectful distance. Like, he wasn't handsy, he wasn't trying to touch her, he wasn't too close to her. He was a gentleman. Her words. They chatted more until she eventually finished her drink, and he said, hey, do you want me to buy you a drink? So they went to the bar together so she could get her drink. Now, while she was at the bar, she found out he was 32, so about her age. Well, she says she's in her early 30s. I don't know how early, but they're around the same age, so that's good. And he travels a lot for fun, which probably explains why his English is so good. And of course, because they were talking about travel, he's like, so Betty, what brings you to Korea? And naturally, BTS comes up. You know, she's like, oh my God, it's Festa, you know, like the boys are home from military. This is an exciting time to be alive, especially in Korea. And he asked her why she likes BTS. Like, what about them specifically speaks to you? And of course, she's gushing over them. It can't be helped, you know? She's like, I love the impact they had on my life. She admires them as people, and she respects what they've accomplished. So then this boy says, I'm better than BTS. Betty, feeling a little cheeky, she goes, oh really? Prove it. After that, he gave a dangerous smile. She said he smiled that smile. And while he did that, he said, I will. Then he started to flex a little bit, saying he plays piano, he sings, he plays guitar. And they started to just chat, naturally having a good conversation. Time was flowing by, so much to the point where her friends Yuna and Mina texted her and said, hey, we're going home, but like, are you good? Do we need to come get you? Are you gonna stay out? They said they didn't want to interrupt because she looked like she was having a really good time with this Nico guy. But Betty assured them she was good, she was having a lot of fun, she was in great hands, and she'll check in with them at a later time. So Betty and Nico end up going to a few more clubs, just them one-on-one. The whole time, she said he was respectful. Even though he had her alone, he still didn't cross any lines. He wasn't trying to rush anything. But as their night went on, she said the tension was tensioning. It was loud. There was a lot of strong tension forming between them two. And then finally, he reached for her hand. So she's like, oh my God, he's touching me. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. She's screaming inside. She's feeling the butterflies flutter. And she lived that moment in slow motion. They're dancing. They're close. He's like following her really well. And she says she gave him the F me eyes. He showed great restraint. You know, he exercised great restraint. He was respectful and a gentleman still. All things that made her want him more. A few hours go by and they finally end up kissing at a bar. And this is how she described that kiss. I felt like I might explode. The kiss was slow and deep and passionate, confident without being aggressive. One kiss and I was done for. And our girl wanted him so bad she didn't even care to try to hide it anymore. But he still wasn't handsy. He was still respectful, still didn't rush anything. So she had to take the initiative and invite him back to her Airbnb. So he ordered them a taxi. They got to her Airbnb. She offered to make him some ramen because she was about to hop in the shower. And he said, you make ramen like a white person? No idea what that means, by the way. But on YouTube, I can say that she had a very satisfying night with him. And she felt bad for Josh because he definitely heard them through those thin walls at the Airbnb. So yeah, they had a very good night together, needless to say. And good morning. They had a nice little quickie. Not the best quickie, but a quickie nonetheless. That'll be sort of relevant later in the story because there's like a round 2 to this part. So when they finally fully woke up, it was about 5 p.m. One thing is, the night before, he promised that he would take her to a spa the next day. Like after they did what they did, he wanted to pamper her. So she was looking forward to that. But since they had only woken up at like 5 p.m. and the day was gone, they ended up going to get some coffee because they needed it after the night they just had. They were going to do a bit of shopping together and then they were going to get some dinner together. And yeah, Betty was a bit disappointed about the whole spa thing, but she was also excited to spend time with him more and just have fun, live your life. But there were some weird things Nico started to say on this second day. There were definitely some red flags that came out that boy's mouth. While they were walking around shopping and before they got dinner, whenever he saw a white guy, he would turn to Betty and say, oh, that's a handsome white guy, don't you agree? Which is a weird thing to say to a girl you just slept with when you yourself are not a white guy. She's white, by the way. Then he asked her who her bias was in BTS, and she says J-Hope and Jimin. So then Nico set himself up for disappointment when he asked her, do you think I'm more attractive than J-Hope? I didn't mean to Sir, don't do that to yourself. Don't get your own feelings hurt. Don't ask questions you don't want the answer to. That's the first thing I thought when I read this, and that's exactly what Betty said when I was reading down through this email. So she started to laugh at the audacity of that question, like, do you want me to lie to you, or... She said J-Hope is her husband. So anyway, they get back to the topic of traveling. So she mentioned she was traveling with her friend Josh. Josh is a guy's name, right? So Nico immediately asks if Josh is hot or if he's white. Now, if you guys remember, Josh is a trans queer icon, okay? So they're besties. There's nothing there, right? But I feel like Nico's insecurities are starting to show a little bit. So Betty answers him. She says Josh is indigenous and mixed, but he does appear to be white. Like, he could pass for white. He looks white. And as we do with all our besties, we hype them up. We're like, my bestie is sexy. My bestie is so smart. They're such a catch. They're great. That's what we do. We talk up our friends. So this made Nico go, oh, he's hot and he looks white. Have you guys slept together?
Boy.
Stop it. Get some help.
She's like, no, I did not sleep with my best friend. Like, bro, are you well? Are you okay? So then at dinner, he randomly asked her how much she weighs. She said where she's from in Canada, that sort of question is illegal. So she was caught off guard when he asked her this. But unfortunately, that is a pretty normal question to ask. And like, people, they're very blunt. They will tell you look like you gained weight. They will tell you look fat. They will tell you you're short, that you'd be better if you were taller, if you were thinner. Like, it's a very blunt society, okay? And then another thing he said that was weird is he said that when Korean women look at Betty, they're jealous of her skin because she's pale, she's white. But she said the ultimate red flag from Nico appeared when they were on a bus after dinner. They started talking about where she's from in Canada. And he said he would never want to go to Canada. Fair, to each their own, but the reason he gave, oof. So then he says, there's a lot of foreigners in Canada, aren't there? And then he said that the current bus they were on smelled like foreigners. Mind you, it's summertime, it's June. The bus smelled like BO, so he thinks foreigners smell like BO. That's fun. And he said it pretty loud, and there were two brown women in hijabs on the bus, and there was also a white guy that was like standing next to them while they had this conversation. And when he said this, he looked at the two brown girls in the hijab saying, this bus smells like foreigners, it stinks. And Betty did not like that at all, especially because from what her nostrils could detect, that smell they were smelling was coming from the white guy, not the two brown girls Nico was trying to blame the smell on. As she reflected on their time so far, she kind of noticed he had been spending a lot of time praising white people. Like, whenever he sees a white guy, that white guy's hot, right? Don't you agree? Saying that Korean girls would be jealous of her because she has white, pure, pale skin. Saying that these two brown women stink, but not the white dude next to him. So then she started to put this bigger picture together about what this Nico guy was like internally, with the insecurities he has, the demographic he appears to praise. Weird stuff, but not uncommon. So she told him that's not okay. Like, what is wrong with you? And when they got off the bus, she said, you know, it was that white guy who smelled, right? Not the two brown girls. So she said that was a racist comment. Of course, he said he's not racist, which have you guys noticed that a lot of people tend to hate and dislike the word racist more than they hate and dislike the act of racism? They will say, I don't like black people, but I'm not racist. Don't call me a racist. Sir, that's the definition of the word. Are you slow? And she said those interactions still bother her to this day, but she decided to let it go for now because it's only gonna be a casual thing anyway. And it's something to like keep in the back of her mind if this sort of thing got worse, became more of a pattern, or if that was like a one-off, something you'd monitor. So she decided to let it go for now. Later that night, Nico decided to get a hotel next to their Airbnb because poor Josh, the night/morning before, he heard them a lot. So they didn't want to do that to him again. And honestly, Nico probably thought Josh was going to steal Betty from him. So they go to his hotel together, just them, Betty and Nico. And this is actually her last weekend in Korea. This whole thing happened towards the end of her trip. I can imagine the priority was like Festa, BTS, J-Hope concert, you know? Then she hit up the clubs. So in their mind, because it was their last night together, they were going to just cuddle, chill, watch some Netflix. And that illusion lasted for a bit. You know, they got some snacks, went back to the room, got to wear the nice robes that come with the hotel, got in bed, put on Netflix, but after 5 minutes they were making out and Netflix was watching them. They started making out, one thing led to another. So they had another really intense night together, and they did get around to watching Netflix and cuddling and stuff. But the thing is, the next morning when they woke up, things felt a little off. The next day, Nico seemed distant. They didn't do morning nookie like they did the last time, which she found very disappointing because she likes morning nookie. He also felt less affectionate. They checked out at a hotel and she went back to her Airbnb and had to get ready to pack because sadly, it was time for her to leave Korea. Later, when she was at the airport, he finally texted her. He told her not to leave and not to go to Canada, as seen in this screenshot. She's like, it's a little too late to ask me to stay now, you know? So she went back home they still keep in touch a bit to this day, check in from time to time, and he told her whenever she's in Korea again, like to hit him up. From what I know, she was just back in Korea and she's working on part 2 of this story. So yeah, guys, that is the tea for now. Betty Boop, thank you so much for sending in this story. We were talking a bit. I was trying to get clarification on this story and everything, and I asked a lot of questions. So if I was annoying, I'm sorry. I just wanted to make sure I got this right and understood the situation. That being said, me no like this boy. I mean, I can appreciate and understand how, you know, the intimacy makes you feel so connected to him and interested in him. But when he starts talking and words come out his mouth, I mean, I can't speak for the rest of the world, right? But I do know in the United States, especially now with all the division and stuff going on, there does seem to be a large proportion of minority groups and populations who seek approval and validation from a certain demographic, aligning with their cause, even if it's a detriment to their own interests and well-being. So yeah, Nico sounds like he's fully in the sunken place, and I can't approve of that. I'm sorry. Hopefully this isn't a pattern. That was like a weird off one thing he has. Maybe he has some sort of like inferiority complex. Maybe it's internalized racism. I don't know. But I do hope that that's not like him as a person, because that's awful. So let me know what you guys think about this story below in the comments. Remember, keep it nice and respectful. Okay, these people spend a lot of time giving us their tea, and it's a very kind and generous thing to do, especially when you gain nothing from doing it. I love living through other people because I'm booed up. I never got to have that cool, fun hoe face. Like, I thought that would unlock in me, but I just never got there. I don't trust men, so I could never let my guard down and be like that with any dude I fancied. And I feel like that's a net loss for me, but I have my bae. I'm happy. It's nothing like that. So I do love reading these stories because I like hearing people have these thoughts and do these things that I myself never would or could do. And I like to have my brain open to different like points of views, different ways of thinking, different reasoning, you know, like I love that. I feel like we can all benefit from hearing about how different people do different things differently, if that makes sense. Because life is more fun when it's not like just one narrow-minded, straightforward, same thought process. So if you guys want more story times like this, Binge the playlist is about to pop up on the end screen. If you want story times that I can't put on YouTube, click the link below and join my Patreon. And if you are a patron, be on the lookout for the next vlog with me and my boyfriend coming. I need to edit that soon. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you did, remember to like, comment, share, subscribe, and I will see you guys next time. Annyeong.